At the age of 12, my life has already seen lots of ups and downs, from having enough friends in my life to keep me happy, to having to go back and forth from my dad's and mom's houses. All I heard was constant insults between the two about each other. It was stupid. Nonetheless, I needed a place where I could really just think for myself, a place where I wouldn't have to worry about telling the other parent something, and most importantly, what I should be thinking and doing. The shots you're about to see are of me in first person, showing what I saw taking the SkyTrain or car to this getaway, this peaceful place, my Kyokai. The Kyokai I attended is located in Surrey on 128th Street. The church itself is named as you can see. Every Sunday from ages 12 to 14, my mom would make me attend this Japanese church group calling themselves the Mennonite Japanese Christian Fellowship. The services were led by Takehiko Yoshiyuki, but we all just called him Yoshi. Which, fun fact, was what people called my mom. Yoshi and his family unfortunately left for Japan in 2008, so now the church is led by a different pastor. Which is why I don't have any significant pics of him, or else I would. Anyway, what made listening to what he and others had to say difficult was the fact they only spoke Japanese. No one who attended this church, adult or child, knew English besides my mom and I. That made the services and activities to me irrelevant, and my anger and confusion about me being there grew every week. The person who attempted to convince me the most about the Lord's way was Yoshi's wife, Mari. Mari definitely meant well, but pointing to the Bible and saying, "Jesus is good, listen to Jesus," since it was a few of the English words she knew, just wasn't enough to keep me interested. But what these times led to was the opportunity to start thinking for myself. My time spent at the Kyokai really shaped my identity in many ways that I think back of now. At the time, of course, I wouldn't have known about this, but it really did make me think more just to do things simply because it's the right way to do it, which is my way of thinking. Whereas, when I was there, I was thinking, I should be doing this, or I should be learning Japanese, or I should be learning about Christianity or praying during these times. But really what was right was for me to go outside and explore the campus and really start thinking on my own and really thinking about what I really thought about these sort of situations without someone else telling me what to do, even though they couldn't have, because as I said, at this church I spoke just Japanese, or they all spoke Japanese. But I really do appreciate now, of course, the time that I didn't spend, but at the same time, if I did, it wouldn't have been the worst thing possible that would happen to me. I would have just had very different values and very different ways of thinking compared to now, so I appreciate those times being at this place. In this church, the rec center building across from the Kyokai was sometimes used for the services, and downstairs was used as the nursery. Since being upstairs would have either made me sleep or confused me, I ventured downstairs for most of my time, either experimenting with the different dinky instruments or walking outside listening to music. Being at this Kyokai also gave me a reason to even start an identity, because me thinking back at it now, if I had to really answer that question at that time, I wouldn't have had an answer for what I wanted to do and what I really had a plan for. But while being there, I feel like that's when I figured it out. What I want people to take away most from this experience that I have is simply just doing what you want to do. Self-realization during times where it might even look like you shouldn't be thinking these things or you should be going down one path. I just want people to be influenced or inspired to just, make sure that it's the right way you want to do it and the way that you inspire yourself to be. Because I do believe there are some people out there that just simply are always influenced by what their parents say and do. And by influence, I do mean they're forced to be doing these certain things. I see students all the time, even friends, that look down all the time. And I ask them, and it's because they're doing a career path, especially coming out of high school. They're going down this career path that they're not really confident in. And it's realistically, knowing them as a friend, I know they don't want to do that. But because of their parent, which is most of the time the reason why they're even doing that in the first place, or another role model, and I just don't think that's the way to do it. You've got to always make yourself happy first, because in the end, as sad as that sounds, there's going to be a time in your life where you're just going to be alone, and for those times you need to be at least comfortable with what you're doing to be happy in that circumstance, I believe, at least. Reflecting on the self-realizations I made during my time outside the center and Kyokai made me feel full, but I could always eat more. My head was full of worry most of the time because of the fear of having to hear my phone go off and listening to my dad say, "I'm outside, tell your mom this," or vice versa. To summarize what I learned and experienced while at this Kyokai is simply nothing I should have. Nothing about getting to know the people there, about the religion being talked about, or even about the language it was spoken in. Yep, I managed to attend something that could have academically changed who I was and even the way I thought. Instead, I believe I learned something more. Things that perfectly shaped who I came to be. Pursuing music taught me to relax and be okay with being judged. Going on walks, or what I called adventure times, taught me to think for myself, not to please others. Go from my parents! But most importantly, it helped me realize that doing what's expected of you will only further the ones that pushed you physically. Mentally, you will still be scarred, and during these days, I learned about myself and became comfortable with what I liked and what I wanted to pursue without influence. Either fly high or wing it until you become disinterested. That is what I realized during my time at the Kyokai.